Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spin Rack. I'm here with the boys, PD and Cal. What's up, guys? Say what's up.
Yo,
Ready to rock.
Hey, so we saw this crazy article in what is it, Screen Rant? No, Game Rant, basically talking about the DCU has its answer to Thanos, and it isn't Darkseid. They're basically talking about Amanda Waller. Ah, I don't know how they square that, but hey, I brought it up with the boys. What is
I
your
know how they square it.
Calvin Ellis? Please tell us. Please tell us.
I'm gonna say it. Are you sure you want me to go first? Because I'm gonna say it.
I want to hear it.
All right. They're saying the greatest threat to any universe is a black woman.
I knew it. Why would you let him do that?
Look at that picture.
I will say something.
Look at that picture. Okay. Look at that picture. All those overtones, the hair. And this is Viola Davis. Viola Davis knows how to go glam if she wants to. Okay. She can go glam or she can definitely tone it down. So they got that picture over here with her looking 100% foreboding, looking like the revenge of what was this chick? What was the name again? I can't remember her name. The chick from Gone with the Wind, looking like the revenge from Gone with the Wind, saying right there, that is the biggest evil that the DC universe can present themselves. Other than that, I don't understand why that picture is there. Maybe you can explain it to me.
I totally disagree. P, can you please explain to this guy what's going on?
No, I don't think. I think going to that ridiculous Peacemaker thing where they kind of had her the looming figure. She did star in it, and she kind of gets a hit at the end. But ultimately, I'm not going to say it's that, but at the same time, it's like you're cutting yourself by taking away the super like Darkseid, like saying having her be this, and it's like I don't know. It's not. Amanda Waller is just someone who is like she was Henry Glyric of with a little bit of Nick Fury in her character, but she wasn't with the. She had all little bits of J. Jonah Jameson. She had all these things of being the person that
she was
in the hero side, but not the criminal. She might do some dark stuff, but she's not necessarily. She's just a tough sergeant.
She's not Thanos. Period. I mean, at the end of the day, this was a character that was more of this was a ball busting G-man. That's who she was at the end of the day, and the character was good for that. But to elevate, not even elevate, I don't know what the right word is, but to somehow say that she could be Thanos is really questionable for me. Really questionable.
I think it was just a headline to grab. Now, is she being? Let's just break it down. Let's hold on a second.
I know exactly what.
Let's just break it down. I'm saying the question they're saying in the article is whether or not because we've seen what she's done in the Suicide Squad. We saw in the second Suicide Squad where she was willing to just totally make what the first group just into minced meat to allow the second group to be able to get into the to the country. That she has like no compunction.
They're murderers.
Exactly. For her, she's like these guys.
So for us, for them, they're terrible murderers.
Right. And so for her, it's like, hey, it's all these guys are useless. These guys not useless, but they serve their weapons to be utilized by the U.S. government. And the question is that if someone who has no compunction, has the institutional knowledge, has access to superpowered beings, and now they have an agenda, can they really be raised to such a level? Now, I think Thanos is a bit much, because he's an Omega level character in and of itself. She can't fight Superman. I don't think she even has any character.
She was shot and taken out of commission for most of the second movie. Okay, she's got people conspiring behind her back in the second movie, which totally knocked down the character that was established in the first movie. How the hell do they get Thanos, with the exception of saying that for some reason a black woman presents that amount of terror to the universe?
I don't know. You keep saying black woman. I'm not sure if we're not looking in terms of black.
No, because Hollywood has a long history. Hollywood has a long history of putting forward a certain type, okay, of black woman. They without femininity, okay, without attractiveness, and she's more masculine than even James Bond at the end of the day. Okay, and the one we always see, she's got short hair, mouth open, or she's fighting, or she's like snotting all over the place, making her look just totally this isn't a woman anymore. This is this is like some new type of being at the end of the day. And then I see an article like this, and I'm like, yeah, this is right in line with everything else that I've seen over the years. So that's all that's for me. That's all that they're saying. Otherwise, this makes no sense. This makes no sense that Amanda Waller could somehow be the equivalent of Thanos in the DC universe. They look, they know what they're saying. I don't. Well, maybe they don't understand what they're saying, but this is some. I mean, this is just some claptrap if there ever was.
Well, I can't go that. Yes, there's the the problem with imagery, but at the same time, I'm not gonna. The character that was designed all over the years, they keep deciding to like they turned her hot in the New 52, like the cartoon, they keep changing her.
I
Whereas
see
like, huh? But then even the thing is like this. But then you have Peacemaker, you know, daughter is there, a full figured woman. Like you could have just done that sort of thing, and you don't have to. And she definitely doesn't have to be a babe. That's the hard thing about this thing. She's a just like she's a ball busting sort of government person that's up top with a little too much power, and she'll talk. She'll curse out Flag the same way she'll curse out what's the name, Batman to one of those characters that was in Checkmate, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
So that's
she will
what I
shoot.
want.
She will shoot her own staff and say they didn't need to know.
But the thing is, one of the things I will agree with is that they have undercut her in the movie, her getting hit in the head by these nobodies. And then of course in Peacemaker, they took I mean, if you highlight that she did wrong, why wouldn't the whole thing go down? How do you do another Peacemaker if Amanda Waller's been called out by, like her own people? So it's like you've already uncut the character twice. What can you do now? Like, you can't have her do? What's she gonna do? Like the thing where you like decide that she becomes a full-fledged villain, or she puts on a suit like Luthor or something like
but
that.
she's so powerful that even being called out doesn't make a difference.
It doesn't make any sense.
She's not that
If she's that
powerful.
much powerful, and then how do they keep doing what they do, and how does she keep doing what she does? Somebody's got to fall for the mistake that they complained about at the end of Peacemaker, right? Either her or them. And whatever happens, they can't work anymore. They can't. What's the name goes back to jail. Like they can't. All these guys go to jail. That's what happens. Everyone in the process that's a part of it gets shut down. She gets a cushy job going somewhere else. That's why you don't call the people out. You don't leave you leave the Jay Jonathan characters untouchable. You had them lose, but they still have their seat, right? That's the thing. You have them think of, what is it, like even Born Again, like the what's the name, Kingpin has some connections to Nuke, but he doesn't lose his power, right? So it's kind of a thing where he's sticking it to the Kingpin, but he has other avenues. He can stay in court forever, that sort of thing. That's what they should do with this chick, but they're not going to do it. They're going to be like, hey, let's start her over again. Now she's got some new government thing with all this money. It's like she already lost twice. So
Yeah, but the Kingpin, what did he do? He took the sheen off of him, where he's like, okay, I'm not a lawyer. You're never going to have any chance of legitimacy. I've taken that away from you. There's no way you're ever going to get away from this. You're going to have months trying to get away from it, and then afterwards, you're always going to have this thing. So you're never going to be able to own a football team. You're never going to be a part of legitimate society. That works because the Kingpin will still be a threat for Daredevil, can still do all that other type of stuff, and Daredevil is still able to get some sort of payback, so they're even at the very least at the end of that storyline. But with Amanda Waller, it just knocked her off. It just knocked her off her perch at the end of the day. Now, mind you, I'm just taking the piss out of this article, but there are other people who will go whole hog with that. They'll just eat that one up, hook, line, and sinker at the end of the day. So the premise of this article, I mean, I guess you got to put stuff out there, and a lot of it's just clickbait, to be honest. But this, I just thought was a dumb premise. It just wasn't thought out whatsoever. This is like, hey, why don't you click on this and read it? Hey, the same way that I can come over here and invert this and run off with it, so you got people out there who will invert this and run off with it. So be careful, okay? Be careful. Not everybody's as nice as me.
And I'll just say that Darkseid got his behind beat so bad by Zeus and everybody that he forgot that he left the anti-life equation on Earth. So you already took him down. Like you just they don't know how to do they're nowhere near close to understanding that, like even in the things where Thanos really didn't do anything, he had a presence that was going along. So when they actually decided to do him, it was a push pull type of thing where it was like, oh, they got some shots in, everybody loses, that sort of thing. This is
Mhm.
like they're still going on and this allowing these guys to get their comeuppance happening, and then it's like, well, how are you going to do the bigger movie later if you already lost? Like the thing in the Kirby thing, like Darkseid doesn't even fight anybody. He just walks around there, gets on the Ryan's nerves, sets people up, gets the millionaire Bates guy to like almost give him the life equation, and he gets killed, and he's like, this guy's gone, that sort of thing. And he's just walking around messing, like, all right, you forever people, I've had it with you using my Omega beams. And he's like, did you do the total wipeout? Nope, sent them to other time. What? Oh, sweat. He's like, he's not doing, and he didn't, besides smacking around Desaad, he doesn't do any fights in the Kirby run. He laughs at Mr. Miracle's wedding. Like he's just like a character just looming. So you have all this thing when DC finally started doing stuff with him in the Justice League, and then in the Legion of Superheroes, we're like, wow. And then even though he, lose at the end of no, he lost in the end of the Justice League. He lost in the Legion, but then when I think someone's laughing at him, he comes back and says, "I'm still here." don't don't get too cocky right now. That sort of thing. So you have a character. Then that slowly, as you go along, you can have some where he, like he almost gets killed by the anti-life entity. That sort of
Well,
stuff.
that stuff is not supposed to. That stuff isn't supposed to happen. He's supposed. The approach that Kirby took with Darkseid, I loved it because that's what a quintessential villain is supposed to be. This guy is supposed to be like really hard to get to.
Mm.
He's supposed to have all these things going on that when he finally does decide to fight you, it's more out of the point where, you know what, I'm just tired of you. You've been a thorn. You just won't go away. I'm going to fight you, and that's part of the reason why he loses, because he's really not supposed to lower himself to that sort of thing. But the stuff we saw with Darkseid was great, and then I mean, a lot of people make a big deal about the Infinity Gauntlet, but the Infinity Gauntlet was all of these powers that were put together to do one thing: destroy half the universe. And once it's done, it's done. This was not like this big deal at the end of the day. I mean, this is not me trying to undercut the story. I really enjoyed it, but that's pretty much where the Gauntlet is. The bigger story is really trying to get all of the gems together. So you got the Gauntlet, but the anti-life equation is like invasion of the body snatchers. It's this thing where it can slowly but surely just start creeping into everyone, and before you know it, everybody around you's got. And then it's like this. You got like this like literally like a crack team, like the A team, like maybe 4 people left who haven't been infected by the anti-life equation, and they're trying to run around. And the whole thing with Darkseid is like he knows he's going to get you because it's around everybody, and it's like no place to get away from this thing. And how do you finally defeat it? That's really the approach for something like that, and that can be much more compelling. I mean, it's a different type of story. It's suspense as opposed to shock, with like everybody just being wiped out. But that's the road you go for it. But you can't get there. I mean, you can still do the whole got to catch them all thing where he's got to find the anti-life equation. But the bigger threat is in watching it totally consume people one by one. And the person who you were working with, like, okay, great, all right, good, we beat these guys, we snuck into here, okay, I got it, this is what we need to beat them. And when you turn around, this guy's been consumed by the anti-life equation. Now you got to fight your partner or find some way to get out. You got all those cool moments that you can have with it. That's where you get with Darkseid and that the anti-life equation. But you don't get there if you reduce him to some field combatant who's going to get beaten the first time we see him.
Well, I mean, one of the things that you have to also, like Stalin was so, like borrowing from the new gods. Like Darkseid, if you pare it down, Darkseid is looking for anti-life. Thanos is in love with death. And it's like
Right.
it's like this really like taking it, but not being a little more direct, doing everything that Kirby didn't do, like hitting the fans over the head with the concepts that people ate up when it got to Thanos. And the only thing that also happened was that what's name didn't really want. He wanted to do Metron, and Stan Lee, and that was what Roy Thomas said. You're going to steal one of the new gods. Take the cool one, like take Darkseid, and that's how he got all beefy. So it's one of those things that, and to agree, agree with everything you're saying.
And then he did. Then he what? And then he stole them again. Then he stole them again.
But one of the things is, you don't get rid of a cool villain. If you want to do someone else, I guess they did it. Was it Mongol or something like that? You feel that Darkseid
Yeah.
has run his course. Find someone else that seems big, man. I mean, like what stick in the world of like the DC character, like keeping that thing, not just find another human, because you like the Marvel people are already doing that with the Zemo and that sort of thing. Keep a villain that's a big deal villain. If you don't want to do one that you have to do a big looming thing, find some of those guys. Find and make them like Trigon. Make these guys look the way they're supposed to look. Make them look like the big honking bad guy. Or, I mean, I'm a DC fan as a kid. I was big on that stuff. I was a Degaton guy, and he is like the DC version of the Red Skull, where he's just he's just this guy who fights throughout time, but just is some regular dude who's like from the Third Reich type of deal. So it's
you mean what's the guy's name again?
Degaton, like a Megaton Degaton.
I mean, no. Then wasn't his name Per Degaton?
Yeah, exactly. Per Degaton.
And that was
my guy.
And what was that one? That was every time I saw that, I was like, does nobody else get this but me? That was a direct throwback to For Darkseid. It's right there. It's the same exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's who Darkseid was. Darkseid was the jackbooted Nazi. That's all he was.
Yeah.
He was just an alien, from a totally different dimension, but with the same thing. But that was a lot of the villains, with Skull and everything. I want to dominate everybody and everything. This totally unbelievable bent that most human beings, wouldn't be able to recognize. But it's easy to understand in an alien power. I just want to come and take over the world, that type of stuff.
Doesn't everybody want to do that?
Here we go.
No.
We have Mars as the freaking DC villain.
No, you can see him already. He's like, per Mars. No.
No, I think we should call him that. Per Mars now.
Oh, good Lord, no.
All right, guys. So we have covered that. Is there anything else you guys want to say?
I think we did. You're correct. We covered as much as we could cover.
Okay, come up with some better. Oh, good Lord. Hey, man. Don't get yourselves in trouble. Don't get yourselves in trouble.
So we're saying this is madness. Don't even think about it. Just wipe that sucker out. It's not going to happen.
It's madness. Just stupid. That's all that is. Just stupid. There's no
what it is. Clickbait.
There's just no. You can't be serious. If I were to speak with the person and say you can't legitimately believe what you're writing over here. And they may put up a good front, but then you can look into the windows of the soul and see like, no, I really don't. I got to put out a certain number of articles every day.
Okay, I hear that. All right, so hey, if you like what you see, give us a thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe, comment. Spinnerack
out.